raindrops, we got the couple of DC. Yes, obviously, I'm talking about the Silvas. In case you've been living under a rock in a hard place, you know DJ Quicksilver, the #1 DJ around the world, in addition to all of the tri-state area. And we got his beautiful wife, the aggressive, but ambitious Ashley. And then we got the baby who did not give her stretch marks, her words, not mine, Bruno.
I think I have Bruno. He's sleepy.
So how's it going, Silvas?
Good.
Amazing. What's up, Carlos?
It's always good seeing you two. And here we are. Tonight's episode was obviously a lot happened tonight in this episode. But before we get into that, let's just start with the fact that we're back for a second season. And I want to hear from you guys how you feel about this season. Because, you know, look, people like to say, oh, whatever, Carlo, you like to hype stuff up, which I don't. I said this publicly. I say it every week. I'll say it again and again and again. Season 2 of Love and Marriage DC feels like a brand new show to me. But I don't want to put words in your mouth. I feel like it's like a refresh. We're getting new characters, new storylines. And I feel like we're diving deeper into each couple's storylines, but also individual. But I want to hear from you two. Like, how do you feel about this season so far?
I've said the same thing, that I feel like it's a brand new show. It's more of a cohesive show. Had I been asked my input for season 1, you probably would have got more of this show.
We've been in for 30 seconds, Carlos, and she already started. Jesus.
I expect nothing less, honey, from this Ashley Silva, baby.
Jesus.
So, Ashley, what you're trying to say is, if I would have consulted you first last season and inquired with you first last season about who should come on, then you feel like what we have this season, we would have had last season. Is that what you're saying?
We would have had some of the people that we have now, we would have had them last season.
No comment.
I know, Quick. It's funny. I feel like Quick is like, you know what? I'm going to be in my best behavior because we have no idea what Ashley's about to say.
Fact. People Ashley, I love to say in real life, she is very unpredictable.
Well, that's why we love Ashley. And it's funny because obviously, and I said this to you, Ashley, already on my podcast, the audio version of Reality with the King. But again, like seeing you guys pop up on the screen when we were casting for the show, it was a no-brainer to cast the two of you. Not only are you guys like the premier couple in DC, but you guys have this personality that is super infectious. People love the two of you, and they love the two of you together. So again, it was a no-brainer. When we look back on last season, what do you guys feel like was the recipe in this season that makes everyone say, like, okay, y'all, like this season is 1,000 times better?
I think for me, it really shows more of the family dynamic. I've said this to you before. What I love about this show is that everyone has a role. When you look at reality TV as a whole, normally it's just about the woman or the wife. The kids and the husband have a little cliff note here and there. But I feel like with Love and Marriage DC, in particularly this season, you really get to see everything. You get to see the good, the bad. Oh, Bruno almost fell, my bad. But you get to see Quick and Ashley as a couple. You also get to see Quick and Ashley as a mom and dad. You get to see Quick and Ashley as a friend to Alicia. And you really see the dynamics of all of us, not just Ashley, even though Ashley is the star of the show. But we get to see.
Don't ruffle nobody's edges.
Well, it is what it is. If you're mad at me, y'all know I don't care about that. But really, you really get to see everything and everybody. And that's what I think I love most about this season and this show as a whole. You really get to see everything about all the family. So a lot of times you never see men really having issues with their sons or their daughters or stuff like that. Not on TV. So I love that.
I think that what separates this season from last season, for the returning cast members, they don't have to get to know us. So that's easier now. They kind of already know our personalities. They kind of already know about our family. So now we can dive deeper. But I think that for me, the thing I like is having people around, that I know, that I actually, know. Even with the Tylers, we knew them before, but since filming, we did get closer. Now having my best friend around, now having Sherelle. I'm trying to say Sherelle.
Sherella Bella.
I know. So wait, so is it Sherelle or Sherella? Because I get confused too.
So her name is Sherelle, but I met Sherella. That's who I met about 13 years ago, and she called herself Sherella LaBella. That was like her personality. So I call her Sherella, and it is very hard for me to say Sherelle.
I definitely call her Sherelle. I don't know who Sherelle is. I know Sherella LaBella. I know Black. We know them.
Yeah,
they're really from the city. We've been around them for over a decade. So with Sherella and Black, as we know them as, we really know them in real life.
Yeah, so I feel like that's the difference now, is that we really know each other. And then even with the other castmates that we didn't know, even like Winter, there now is a story between us. So I just feel like all of those things, it makes a little bit more sense now.
No, it does. It does. And the reason why we are diving right back into all of that this season is because, look, the elephant in the room as I do these interviews is obviously the departure of the Samuels. And what I don't think a lot of people know is this. We were already talking to Sherelle and Black and Joy and Clifton. We already talked about Alicia coming on last season because the showrunner Brent called me and said, you need to meet Alicia because she is a mess in a good way. Alicia speaks her mind. And that's Ashley's BFF. And the DNA of what we do at the company is, yes, Ashley's right. We like to make sure that these friendships are organic, right? So we brought on Alicia. All of that was happening before the Samuels ultimately decided not to return. So it wasn't like Monique announced she left and we said, oh my gosh, let's get all these. It wasn't, that wasn't the case. I want to make sure we really dispel that.
Yeah.
But why was it important for you, Ashley, to bring on these people that was really in your life? Because I would say this, it made a major difference this season.
I just feel like, I need like a casting director. Like I have a new role, okay?
Okay.
Carlos with the snap.
But no, so with Sherella and Black, Sherella is exactly the person that y'all see the first second she walks, well, I know her first name was Winter, but I feel like you really get to see like her personality. The second she walks into that pink party, like that is Sherella. That is how she walked into my life 12, 13 years ago. That is how she's walked into every room I've ever seen her walk in since. Yeah. That is who she is. She's loud. You're going to see her. You're going to be like, you're going to feel some type of way about her when she walks. Like, you're either going to be like, oh, I want to talk to her. Or who the hell is that loud ass girl? Or something. Yeah. Some way you're going to, and I knew her personality was so amazing. Like Quick said, like they are true DC, like with Black being in a go-go band. Go-go is the soundtrack to DC. And I know that, they love being in the public eye. I think what a lot of people don't realize is I've heard before, like, well, why I have other friends that are married. They're like, well, why don't you pitch these people? Not everyone wants to do reality TV. Not everyone wants to be in the public eye. It's a lot. But for Sherella, I was like, I knew she would be absolutely perfect for it. So I don't even think I was asked to pitch people. I was pitching people like before we even ended last season. Like, well, this, we try to meet this person. And, if we get in that second season, I want to bring this person around. So I knew they would be absolutely perfect. And so far they are. And then, maybe it was better that they came in on the second season because something genuinely happened, a conversation with me and Sherella about Winter this summer. And I was like, whoa, hold up. And you guys get to see that this season.
Oh, and we get to see a lot. We get to see a lot. Sherelle and Miranda have a big beef and Ashley's in the middle and it's everything. Okay, so look.
Wow, Carlos. That's what we're doing.
I'm just saying.
You know what, Carlos? No. Let me talk about that. So when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, me versus that person. Me versus that person. Me versus that. What the fuck is Ray Ray? Because it ain't just me, okay?
Carlos can't get his laugh out.
I can't, because look, I told this to Irena on this podcast. I don't know who that woman was last season, but that woman no longer exists because that was Irena. That was the woman that Jamie created. That's who y'all saw last season. This season, you are seeing Ray Ray and her Bob. Ashley, you haven't seen this yet. And quick, I'm gonna not spoil the whole thing. But coming up, Quick's neighborhood, they named the street after him. And it's a very beautiful moment. Quick's grandma's there. The whole city showed up for your boy. Because Quick is a star. People like to ask me who the biggest diva on the show. I say it's Quick. Because Quick will let you know I'm Quicksilver. And you better ask somebody else another question. Right?
But I'll take it. I don't think I'm a diva. I think I'm just
a diva.
No.
Devo.
Devo.
It's not that I'm a diva, and me and Ashley have talked about this, and I'm glad we kind of touched it because I saw you throwing a shot. I watched some he's like, Quick is the biggest diva of the show. I said, wait till I talk to Carlos. I got some smoke for him today. No, but
it's a compliment.
No, thank you. I wasn't offended at all. But I think with me, once again, me and Ashley have talked about this. The difference, and this might sound divish, is that I really sometimes have like a lot going on. We see it in the show. Like that's not a storyline. That's my real life. I have 10 things I'm doing daily. So sometimes it might come across as that because it might look like Quick is acting like he don't have time for something, or it just look like Quick's always too busy for something. And maybe which I am, but that's really my real life. I'm not like bragging. I think somebody's like, he brags, but I don't brag about my work. Like that's really
like Carlos said,
23 hours of my day.
Yes, but you're going to let everyone know that you are Quicksilver, right? And that you're busier than the rest of us. And you have all these things going on because Barack Obama is calling you and Michael Jordan is calling you.
But are these facts or this is y'all making it up?
And Michael Jackson is back
I'm
from the
born next to
dead.
Barack Obama
Okay.
and all that. Like,
all right.
These are facts though, Carlos. I feel like when I say a fact, it's like, oh, he go Quick bragging about he got his own street.
Okay, babe. All right. Can Carlos conduct this interview? Thank you.
People love hearing facts until the facts are real.
Well, look, I will say this. The three of us, in the words of Ashley Silva, we're honest people. Right. So I'm with you. I don't mind letting someone know what time it is. So I'm with you there, Quick. But I did bring up the street because in a future episode, let's just say as Quick was celebrating a very pivotal moment in his life, and congratulations again, Quick. I know we talked personally, but congrats again. Let's just say Irena and her Bob also had a moment. And when I say to y'all, the funny, Ashley, you haven't seen this. Ashley gets in the middle of Irena and Sherelle, and Ashley's confessional, she literally reenacts their beef. And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And all Ashley did was talk about how Irena's Bob be bobbing. It's the best thing. So we'll get to that in a second. Before I move on to tonight's episode, Winter was on last week, and she mentioned on this show that Monique did reach out to her and have her on her radio show. And she said that Monique reached out to you and Irena, and that none of you ladies did her show, and that allegedly, this is Winter saying it, not me, that allegedly Monique alluded to the fact that reality TV changes people.
I saw. So I just talked to Monique about 2 days ago. She did not tell me I changed. When Monique
exclusive.
Exactly. She did reach out to me and Irena and asked us to come on the show. Irena, I think they were already scheduled for another interview that day. I told her to reach out to the own PR because we have gotten into like a little bit of trouble. Not me, but there was another cast member who I think Monique, when she was on one of her lives talking about leaving the show, another cast member was on her live like commenting, and they was like, no. Like one of our producers was like, don't do that.
Mm-hmm. We ain't gonna say no names right now.
Go ahead.
And I wasn't even a part of this. And the next time I saw him, he's like telling me, I'm like, what the hell did I do? I didn't even do anything. Like, so that's why I was like, look, I get enough trouble for my own stuff. Okay. So let me just try to send us up the right chain of command. Cause I don't want no extra problems. So that's why I didn't do it.
Okay, so everything's good. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're good. Okay, good. See, that's why I love talking to my cast, because y'all gonna get the facts straight from here. And in my quick Silva voice, this is in real life. So I'm glad we were able to dispel that. So let's talk about tonight's episode. I said on my rant, when I was talking about Potomac, which Ashley, I want to get your thoughts on that, but we'll get to that in a second. I mentioned it in my rant about Potomac and Robyn Dixon's hiding the fact that she was going through this situation with her now husband, Juan. And I mentioned you, Ashley, in terms of telling people to watch what they saw tonight, which was a conversation between you and your mother. In terms of when you decide to join reality, obviously, when it comes to your life, we like well, not even we, the audience loves to see what is it that you have going on that I can relate to. And that's why I was so passionate about Robyn's lack of honesty in terms of, we met you and Juan 7 years ago. We already talked about how he, cheated. That's how you got a divorce. So all of this is nothing new to us. So the fact that something happened and you decided not to disclose it was a slap in the face. Since we're on it, let me get your thoughts on that, because one thing about the DC cast and even the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast, y'all give so much to the show. Y'all work literally 9 hours a day, sometimes more, to make a commitment to give the audience a slice of your life. Quick, we saw you, at the cemetery last season. We saw this Black man cry on national television, which is what you don't see often. We saw tonight, Ashley.
And I know how to cry at all.
Yeah, no, it's real. And you could have said, like, I don't cry. Carlos, cut that out. You never called me about that. Ashley, we saw tonight this very deep conversation between you and your mother, where you talked about being 16 years old, and sort of like just being left to think for yourself. Before we get into those specifics, when you saw the breaking news about what was happening with Robyn Dixon and Juan, and everybody, including me, was upset with the disrespect because you all give your life to the show, how did you feel when you discovered that?
I do feel like being on reality shows, we've decided to open up about our lives, our real lives, what's going on. So not that I feel like if you feel like something is so private that you just do not want to share it, I feel like, okay. But it was brought up on the show. She was very adamant this didn't happen on the show. She called Juan. He's all screaming on the phone like this didn't happen and then it's like the season is ending, you filmed a reunion, and then the next day it's like, well, let me go over here to my podcast and tell you what really happened. That was the part I didn't like. I felt like if you didn't want to talk about it, don't talk about it. But it's like now you want to talk about it for your own personal gain when this show is paying you to be honest, and it came up. It's not like it didn't come up. I don't think that she just needed to wake up and be like, oh, guess what, y'all? Juan was cheating on me. Like, I don't think she needed to do that. But at the same token, it's like, why now? Why bring it up? Like, if you didn't want to talk about it, don't talk about it. That's just how I felt about it. And I already got into trouble for what I said when I told you that that Housewives didn't cast me.
They said you were broke and you didn't have no money.
No, they didn't say I was
And our
broke.
house wasn't big enough in that bag.
They didn't say I was broke. They said I had one
something
Benz.
ridiculous, by the way.
They said I had one Benz.
Right.
They did not say I had $7 in my bank account.
They said you don't look like you have enough money. That's what they said. I'll say it. I don't.
That's because it's not what they said.
It was something similar.
That I only had one Benz. That was literally.
I feel like they asked you how many purses you had. You're like 10. Only 10? You need at least 11 to be on this show. It was something ridiculous.
Babe, because we see that's not the criteria for.
But that's what they told her.
Oh my God.
They be like, you gotta be. Carlos wants the real.
Okay.
They told her. I remember sitting there watching the interview, and whoever it was, they were talking to her, and I remember it was a guy or something asking all these questions, and they're like, well, how many square feet is your house, and how many bags do you have? And I'm looking like did they ask everybody this?
No,
right? Because I'm like, y'all talking to us, and once again, this is not me Quicksilver in my moment. Like, this is really like, y'all know us in real life. Like, y'all know who we are. Y'all know our life. Like, y'all know it. Like,
anyway.
So that's why she didn't get on the show.
That whole question now.
That's why she didn't get on the show.
I'll talk about the situation. I just feel like I know that I see the comments. I watched your review. I just feel like a lot of the fans are really disappointed. I feel like they've been disappointed in, certain cast members on the show for a long time. And I think like this has been like the cherry on top.
It has been. And I think the reason why people love the Love and Marriage franchise because it's what Quick said earlier. You get to see the perspective of men. And the one thing that I learned working on those prior shows is the fact that I never understood why you don't want the perspective of a man. And the secret sauce to me in reality is the dynamic between a husband and a wife. And that to me is super interesting. So to omit that from the equation, I never understood that. I never did. So yes, Juan obviously is not a cast member, but it was also sort of like you said, Ashley, if you kept this to the grave, who? Like, don't ask none, won't be none, right? Yeah. But you went on your podcast and then tell people to go on your Patreon to pay $5 when we're in a recession, and that's money for somebody's 2% milk. It was a slap in the face, and I was pissed, and obviously I gave a shout out to my cast because I said, I went on the government names quick and named every single female from my shows and said, they know not to do that because I only cast people who are authentic. And we saw that tonight with your mother. How challenging was it for you, Ashley, to have that conversation? Because I will say this to you. I feel that that scene made people really understand who Ashley is as a woman.
That is probably the most challenging scene that I have filmed these past 2 seasons. It's a sensitive topic, more so for my mother. I think because I actively am still trying to heal from it, I'm more open to talking about it. Whereas she kind of shuns away from the conversation because she feels like it paints her out to be a bad mother, like she abandoned me. And all of those things. I mean, this is not a new conversation. This is not a conversation that we've had once. This, how they say like at the Christmas dinner or whatever, like it was just her birthday. Quick was like, please don't talk about this tonight. Yes. Please don't talk about it tonight. Because it ends up like, we go at it so much. But one of the things the reasons I did want to share it is because I see such a parallel between me and my mom and Jamie and little Jamie. It's very similar to what they are dealing with now, that at little Jamie's age, when I was in my 20s, it was much worse. It was like they were. It was like almost like that hallway scene between little Jamie. Me and my mom have had times like that. So I understand, what those two are going through. But, something Quick always says is like, we signed up, Quick and Ashley signed up for this show. My mother necessarily didn't. Our kids necessarily didn't. But they are a part of our story. And when we ask our parents or our family or whoever it is to be a part of it, they have to understand that with that is going to come our honest story.
And I'm gonna just jump in here. I understand why I asked, and once again, that scene tonight super powerful, very emotional, and I know what that scene has done to Ashley and her mom, like currently. Um, but I said this to Ashley, and once again, I understand why we had that moment, and I think that moment was very pivotal to people understanding why Ashley is the way she is. However, what I did say to her is, I agree with her mom, because at the end of the day, her mom didn't sign up on the show to talk about the past. We signed up on the show to talk about from the day you start filming on forward. And with the kids, and in her mind, at least, like, and Ashley's like, no, that's not, when you sign up, her mom didn't say, I signed up on the show to talk about what happened 20 years ago. Even though we know it's affected Ashley 20 years ago and it's still affecting her today. That's Ashley's story. So she has the right to tell her story. However, in that, when you're telling that story, sometimes for people who aren't cast members, who aren't friends of the show, they're just family in real life. They're your kids. They're your wife, your mom or your dad. It does become hurtful, because it's like, we need to have that conversation, which they have. Once again, we need to have that conversation, but that conversation wasn't for TV. And that's kind of how her mom feels. It's like that conversation wasn't for TV, because now the TV is painting me to be a certain way.
But unfortunately, my mother did want to be a part of the show. My mother loves to film. My mother, we could have we could be filming and she's not supposed to be doing anything. She wants to just walk in the background.
She wants the good of the show, not the ugly.
Right, but so I feel like so often that's what people want. They think that they can come on these reality shows and paint themselves as a character. And unfortunately, this is a reality show. If you want to be a character, go take some acting classes, sign up for that, be a character. This is our real life. And this is what me and my mom have been dealing with for the past 22 years. There are things about myself that I see on the screen that I don't always like, but that's who I was and that's who I am in that moment, and it's the same thing for my mother. So
no, I agree with that. And look, the thing is this, obviously your mother is a huge part of your life. And quick, you're right. Her mother did not sign on to be a cast member, right? And that's the reason why, look, I appreciate your mother so much, because it's her honesty in terms of how she feels. And one thing we've all learned is you can't tell someone how they feel. The goal is to make sure that there's an understanding and to move forward. And I appreciate that so much, because not only does it really show people who you are, Ashley, as a woman, but it also kind of shows how the mother-daughter relationship is very sensitive. Yes. And it really is for Black mothers and Black daughters, because, and stop me when I'm wrong, Ashley, I've always seen and been told that a Black mother, when they have a son and a daughter, and I want to get your opinions on this because you guys have one of each. A Black mama is going to raise her daughter to be independent and to be strong and to not feel like she needs to depend on anybody, probably because the mother may have done that in her life. And her mother's mother may have done that, right? And that's why Black daughters are raised, to me, Black daughters are raised tougher than their brothers. And a lot of that has to do with just what it is to be a Black woman in this world. And that's why I love that scene, because there's not an instruction manual to how to be a parent. You do your best at the time. And a lot of times as a parent, you're following a cycle that you saw. And you feel like that's what I know, that's what to do. So I appreciate your mom for her honesty, because at the end of the day, I know that scene is going to change lives and it's going to change the dynamic for mothers and daughters. But do you agree with that in terms of how daughters and sons are raised differently in the Black households?
So I have a brother, but not from my mother. But looking at my mom's relationship with my grandmother had a son and a daughter. That's definitely how she raised them. My grandmother was ironing my uncle's clothes until she got very, very sick. It was to the point where he could not iron his clothes. He would pay me and my sister to iron his clothes because he just did not know how to after my grandmother passed. A lot of the men in my family are the same way. Their moms took care of them, whereas their sisters, have been working and had jobs and had their own children and their own families and all of these things. I don't feel like I'm raising my children like that, but
quick.
I think I raised my children very.
I'll say something in a minute.
I think I raised my children very equally. My daughter is just as spoiled as my son is, if probably even more. My daughter is probably more of a mama's girl, than a daddy's girl. She is her mama's child. Okay, that is literally my little mini me. But I think I'm raising them both to be. I want them both to be independent. I want them both to be headstrong and be able to do things for themselves. Neither one of them wake themselves up in the morning for school.
Great segue, Carlos and
Ashley. Because I know what you want to talk about. You can sit there and hold your breath. I should have let you just stay there and keep holding your breath until you pass out.
Right, and that's what you want from me? Just take the insurance money? Jeez. Exclusive. Ashley wants the insurance money.
Get us this! And I'm teasing. Go ahead, quick.
Right. That's going to make the blogs, by the way. Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
So,
please.
Back to what Carlos just said, and it's so real, Carlos, and I'm so glad you said that, because this is the first time I've heard it said that way, and Ashley kind of agrees. What you said was that Black moms raise their sons and daughters differently. And what Ashley led with was, I agree, because my grandmother coddled I saw her coddle the son, and he couldn't iron his own clothes and all that. And it goes into why Ashley coddles the way she coddles. It goes into it because
I don't coddle.
You saw that with your,
and I didn't like it.
Right, you didn't like it, but yet
so I don't do it.
But yet, right now, we have we have a discrepancy in our parenting styles because I'm very hard, especially, and I'll be honest, I'm harder on Antonio than I am on Ashley. With Antonio, I'm trying my best. Like I said, there's no manual. I'm trying my best to raise him to be stronger, wiser, and everything. Way more than me, way beyond my years. But with Ashton, I'm protecting her. I'm not raising her the same as I'm raising Antonio. So where our discrepancy has come in is that Ashley feels though I'm too hard on Antonio right now at 15. And I'm like, actually, I'm not. These are those pivotal years when it matters. Yes, it matters at 5 and 10. When high school are the years that really define the rest of your life.
Okay, I don't believe that. Middle school defines you more than high school.
Middle school is very important, but if you don't have it figured out by high school, you got to kind of speed up a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
And I have already stated on the show why I think Quick thinks that I'm a coddler. And I did get a little bit of backlash. She was like, "Oh, that was
a lot of backlash."
No, I'm not talking about what I said about Antonio. I'm saying with you, and I repeat it. Your lack of having your mother there does define how you feel like a mother should be.
I agree, but completely disagree. I think with me,
I just think that Quick wants to equivalate where he was at 14 years old. Quick was DJing in nightclubs. You were DJing in 21 and older nightclubs when he was 14 years old, with alcohol being served. That is the life exactly. That's what Quick was doing. So you cannot. So that's why I tell him, like, please, I got this. I got this.
And let me make this very clear. Now, I'm not sure. We actually talked about this on the scene, so I don't know what episodes it's going to air. And I hope it airs here. I made it so very clear, and I'm going to say it again on this Carlos King exclusive. I never, ever said I want my son to have the life I had at 14.
Didn't say that.
You literally just said that.
I said that's the life you had.
Literally, let me repeat. At 15, Quick was doing this and this. And because Antonio's that, he feels like he's not doing the... I don't want my son to do where I was at 14, 15, 10, or 21. I don't want that. But sometimes when I'm being hard, Ashley likes to bring up, Quick, I know at 14, I don't want that for Antonio. All I'm saying is that at 14 and 15, you have to be doing something that's going towards your goal. You have it figured out. You can change every year if you want, and we're going to support it no matter what. But at 14, 15, you can't just sit back and say, I'm doing nothing with no responsibility and expect at 18, 21, or years to pass, it's just going to happen. So once again, I don't want my son or daughter or anybody to live the life that I had at 14, 15. So when you say things like that, that's when I kind of reiterate, like, that's not what I want. I'm not saying I'm hard on Antonio because at 15, I was in the club at 21. That wasn't a good thing. I'm not saying it was. I don't want that for my son. I just want at 15, we're on the path of something, and that's all.
I don't even think that was a question, but okay.
Wasn't a question, but I had to make it
No,
very clear because you see me at 15, quick was in clubs. What did I do anything?
No, this is the reason why everyone loves you guys and love this show, because we're having conversations that are super relatable to the masses. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna move on from it. I grew up in a 2-parent household, right? I have 9 siblings, as you know. There's 7 boys and 3 girls, right? Mom and dad in the house, right? I will say this. My mama, with 7 boys, spoiled us. I had to literally leave the state of Michigan and move to New York because I knew if I didn't, I would be under my mama all day long, right? Now, my dad, we called him, not we, the neighborhood called him Joe Jackson. Because when it came to the 7 boys, my father punched holes in the walls, used to. And the good news is this: we're not in jail, we all have a job, and we're good people. So kudos to my father for that. My mama, to my sisters, she raised them tough. And she was so hard on them. And that's the reason why I wanted to talk about it, because look, again, I'm not saying those was right or wrong. I think for me, honestly, that's just the dynamic of Black families, honestly. But at the end of the day, that's why I appreciate the 2 of you. I appreciate Jamie and Arena with little Jamie, because it goes to show you that to raise a kid, you definitely need the help of the mom and the dad. That job of raising a kid is a 2-person job. And look, at the end of the day, Shmoo, who is Antonio, Shmoo is a great kid.
Absolutely.
He's a fantastic kid. And Ashton is like her mama. She is a funny, independent girl who speaks her mind, so much so Ashley told me that she got $100 out of my showrunner. So
she did.
Ashton knows. Ashton gonna be fine.
Yeah.
No, they both no, yeah, of course. But I'm just saying, Ashton is already like run it. So
exactly.
Yes, it's good. It's good. One of the things we are seeing this season 2 is obviously little Jamie, big Jamie, and Irena, and the conversations tonight, even with the outburst that Jamie had at your birthday party, Ashley, where he sort of appeared to diminish little Jamie's cry for help in terms of his mental health and the conversations of suicide and stuff like that. And the 2 of you were so passionate about that. Talk us through that scene and what you were feeling as Jamie was expressing himself in terms of not believing his son would ever do any harm to himself.
I'll start first, if you don't mind, Ash. Like, if you look the entire time that he's talking about little Jamie, I'm literally there because at first everybody was listening to him, but I'm like, Jamie, you can't say that. Jamie, you can't say that. You can't say that about your son. And then Ashley chimed in was like, Jamie, like, what you're saying, like, boy really needs help. But he's like, no, he's not. He's just crying out for attention. And once again, I know Ashley is going to really piggyback on this. We understand the seriousness and the severity of mental illness and depression and suicide prevention. When someone says they're going to hurt themselves, believe it. Even if they're lying, still believe it. Because unfortunately, like I said on the confessional, we don't believe it until it happens. It's always like, it can't happen to us, it can't happen to our son, it can't happen to our wife or our husband. But then one day it happens. So when someone shows the signs, and this is even for me, Ashley has really taught me how to deal with mental illness and how to look for certain things and how to like take someone for what they say and how they react and act in certain situations. With the little Jamie situation, hearing him say, and I think it rained or somebody said, like, little Jamie's threatening to hurt himself. And he's like, no, he lied. I'm like, Jamie, you can't say that, because unfortunately, what if he's not lying? And I hope he is lying, but what if he's not? What if he's not? And that's why for me, especially as a dad and as a husband, it really hurt me to hear a dad talk about his son that way. Like, Mental illness and depression is definitely suicide. Is not something that I think we should ever take lightly. And it's definitely not something we should ever think that someone is just crying for attention. Maybe they're crying for help, not attention.
Yeah, I think that that was what my issue was. Just kept being like, he wants attention, he wants attention, and I'm like, are you listening to him though, Jamie?
Mhm.
Even beyond the words, if he doesn't want to be here anymore, like, what do you feel like is making your son feel like his life is not worth living?
Mhm.
Why aren't you navigating through that instead of just yelling and fussing and telling us he's, calling him a bum and all of these things that he was saying? And I'm just like, listen to your son, have a conversation with him. I have been, everyone knows I'm a huge advocate for therapy. I think that therapy, I don't, child, you ain't never had to step foot out your house another day. I think you should still go to therapy. I don't think that it means you're crazy. I don't think
Right.
that it means you have a problem. It does not mean that you're depressed. It doesn't mean that you have anxiety. But I think as seriously as we take going to the dentist, if your teeth are falling out, you're going to go to the dentist. So if your mind is not working properly or your mood is not, working properly, you should go see someone about that too. And with Jamie, I feel like now mental health is such a like a hashtag word and this thing everybody wants to talk about. Growing up, Jamie's generation didn't see that. They didn't talk about it. You don't talk about your problems. Man up, or
He's just crazy.
right, they just want attention. Well, I had it worse and all of these things. And it's like, just because you may have had it worse doesn't mean that you get to invalidate how he feels.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that depression wasn't happening in the 70s and the 80s. It was, people just masked it very differently. Which is part of the reason Jamie had a job, because that's why the drug epidemic took over. People were numbing their pain, so
Good point.
it's like, yeah, so it's like, we can't sit up here and say he's faking or he's looking for attention. The newer generation is just, they're more vocal about needing help. And sometimes I need help doesn't come out in the way of I need help.
Yeah.
And I've been in little Jamie's shoes before, so I completely understand, being in a situation where it's like you are crying out for help and no one is hearing you. And I think that was just the point that I was trying to get to Jamie. It didn't have to be little Jamie in particular, but when anyone says that to you, it's like you need to stop and you really do need to listen.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Listen, I went to therapy and because I'm a workaholic and quick, you can understand.
Carlos, are you bragging about working? Oh my God. Carlos King brags about working.
So the thing is this. On the outside looking in, listen, you work, you have a great job, a great life, you make great money, you feed your family, you take care of them, everything looks good. And I never disclosed this, so it's an exclusive for you guys. I overworked myself so much that I literally had a breakdown. And I wasn't smart enough to be able to articulate what the issue was. And that's fine because I didn't go to school for it. And you're right, Ashley. My parents was like, I remember being 14 years old, like, I'm stressed out. And they laughed at me, said, you stressed out about what at 14? I'm like, no, I'm stressed. They said, if you don't get your ass upstairs and if you have to pay a bill, that's stressed out. But anyways, right. I saw a therapist and she gave me the best advice ever that I still take. And I'm going to give it to people listening who are workaholics or just whatever. She said, the problem is you give so much to everyone, from your job to your cast. And, reality is tough. You work 6 days a week, 20 hours a day. It's not an easy job. And she said, you have to be selfish. And what that means, Carlos, is you have to learn how to say no. You got to say, like, I'm good, or I'm going to take that vacation. I'm literally going to force myself to go out of town for a week. And if I want to go to the gym at midnight, no, I'm not cheating. I need to do what I want to do because it helps me. And that truly saved my life. And I would not have been able to overcome my issues if I didn't seek professional help. So I just want people to know that And again, it doesn't matter how you look, what you got. You can have all the money in the world. You can have all the success. You can look as good as Ashley does. And you still just have something that you feel you need help with. So I'm with all of you guys. We need to seek it and we need to talk about it more in the Black households, which is why, look, and I'm not just saying this because a lot of people think I'm shading people when I say this, and I'm not. This season is so effing good because I feel like everybody is just bringing it in terms of talking about real life stuff. And the one thing that I think is wrong with reality TV right now is people think it needs to be a shade fest, that it needs to be something to where, let me give a good old read. You know what I'm saying? And what I love about this show is you guys talk about real life stuff. And you guys talk about mental health, dealing with kids, the fact that, is Shmoo spoiled, is him, the most talked about topics right now is waking your kid up for school. That broke Twitter. It literally there was.
I really didn't feel like that was going to be this big thing. It's like you wake your kid up for school.
That was the #1 topic on my radio show for 2 days. I talked about it for 2 days straight.
That's the beauty of this show. And that's why when I told your wife, Ashley, with her other experience in terms of the other shows, whatever, I really do believe this. God saved you for this. Because not knowing you are a mental health advocate, and this is no shade, I'm not being shady, I just know that's not something that would have been covered on some other shows. It just wouldn't have been. Yeah. Nobody would talk about, like you said, Quick, for 2 days, the topic being like, do you wake your kid up from school? Those topics don't get addressed on other shows because they want to focus more on like, well, girl, did you hear what he was doing behind the scenes? Allegedly. Or, I read her for film. Okay, now, what else do we got going on? So again, this season is beyond the best because we're talking about real stuff, and you saw that in tonight's episode. Speaking of real, we saw on social media, Quick, that Little Jamie had a reaction to the first episode and sent out some tweets. We're shooting this as we're filming, which I know is, we're filming as we're showing the episodes while we're airing, which is
a lot,
a pain. But keep going, Carlos.
Whose
idea was that?
And look, that's not like this. It ain't mine. Okay, so anyway, so we taped a conversation about that, guys. So stay tuned for that. But when you two saw that, what was your first reaction? Because the reason why I love my cast and I love the relationship they have with the producers, Ashley reached out to the showrunner, Brent, and was like, all right, we got to really handle this the right way because this is really happening. And I know we're filming and I get it. We got to explain how we know about this because the show is airing. But I told Brent, follow Ashley's lead because I agree. Let's just film it and we'll deal with the rest later. Because to me, it's important. But when you saw those tweets that Little Jamie said, and I'm not going to repeat it because I don't need to, how did I make you guys feel seeing that, knowing that at the end of the day, you've always came from a good place?
I think for me, the word I use is disappointed. Because if you know, as we saw in tonight's episode, I'm team Lil Jamie. Even last season, everything about Quick and Lil Jamie's interaction has been Quick trying to help Lil Jamie, tell him what not to do because I did it. And this is where his life will lead. Even when his dad is talking bad about him, I'm the one that's defending him. I've always been team Lil Jamie. And as I would say in real life, me and Lil Jamie talk. Here's my phone number. I have his number. We talk. He texts me every other day about, hey, Uncle Quick, can you help me with this? Sure. Thanks for this. Sure. So we text and talk all the time. So when that moment happened on TV on episode 1, I believe it was, or 2, whatever it was, and he got upset because I said at 15, Jamie was a bad kid. My frustration was if you had an issue with that, because even though we call you Lord Jamie, you're a grown man. We talk all day. If me and Carlos have a relationship off camera, we really talk and we help each other in real life. If there's an issue in real life, Carlos, hit me. So I said to Lord Jamie, my issue is not you being upset with what I said. We can address that and I can explain to you but my issue is how you handle it after the fact. Because in my world and grown men don't handle things like that. If there's an issue in real life, we call it text each other. If there's an issue in the street, we go see each other. We never go to social media with a real issue. So I think that was my frustration and disappointment. I'm like, dude, you going at me like I'm not the one that's literally helping you get stuff. Like, you upset about a moment, and instead of hitting me directly, you go to social media. That was my frustration with Lil Jamie.
How I felt when I watching it, I lived it, so I watched it and I didn't really think too much of it. Quick knows how I feel about calling people bad. I think bad is just an awful word, like, because it comes with such a negative connotation. So I was like, okay, I understood little Jamie being upset about the bad thing, but then I was like, there was so many people in the comments as well that were like, oh my God, wait till the Tylers find out they're talking about it, their son, and blah, blah, blah. And I was looking at it like,
we were laughing about it. Right.
Like, okay, like, what do you mean? So, then I saw little Jamie's tweets, and honestly, my first reaction was, he is daddy's son.
Like some little Jamie would do. I'm going to Twitter. I'm so upset with you. I'm a grown man. Let me tweet about it. I'm so upset. I'm a grown man. Let me put it on Instagram my story so the blogs can recapture it and have a moment for social media, because that's what men do. Not in my world. That's not what men do. So that's why I was.
We're off of that. He's laughing at me.
Because Jamie, big Jamie, would go to Twitter too. Right.
Well, that's why I'm laughing, because no, real talk, I never thought of it that way. And it's funny because it's true. Listen, we love Jamie, and Jamie gets it. Jamie, big Jamie, not little Jamie.
Yes,
big Jamie loves Twitter.
Yes.
If he don't love nothing else, that man loves Twitter, and he loves to express his thoughts, whether it's 4 a.m., 4 p.m., 4:44 Pacific Standard Time. Big Jamie is going to let y'all know how he feels, and he that's why I'm laughing, because I never thought of it that way, but yeah.
and just to be clear, like I said, I know we're still filming, right, even as we speak. I'm glad that me and Lil Jamie are having a conversation about that, because unfortunately, what I believe, and once again, this is just my belief, doesn't make it right or wrong. In order to grow or go past anything, you have to come to grips with reality of how something was, and then you grow past it, or you learn from it. You learn from your past mistakes, whatever it is. When I said what I said, I understand Ashley's point and Little Jamie's point why it sounds bad saying Little Jamie was a bad kid at 15. I completely understand why I got some backlash. However, what I kept saying to Ashley, like, you can't compare how you are to other people. If Carlos was talking about me right now and he said something like, Quick was bad at 15 and he did this, I honestly wouldn't be upset, because I really was. That doesn't mean that I can't turn my life around and become better. So a lot of times, if someone says something to trigger Ashley or Carlos, and I haven't grown past that moment yet, it really resonates differently.
So that goes back to the mental health aspect of it all, and we get into that in that scene. And I am really happy that we did address it right away. And we knew it was going to be weird, because I kept saying, I was like, because we kept being like, well, I saw on TV, and then, on TV you said, and it was like, okay, we know we can't, present it like that on the show. But even just, I think that is now going to be a conversation, not necessarily the bad thing, but there are so many people who lose real relationships from social media, from things that they may have interpreted wrong, conversations that they just don't have. Because had I not been like, let's talk about this, then the feelings would have kept festering and festering and festering. And now it would have become a bigger issue when it was like, okay, we can have just nipped this in the bud right now and have a conversation. Maybe I spoke wrong. Maybe it triggered you. Maybe whatever the maybes are. Now we can talk about them and get through them. Because I feel like right now, social media damages so many relationships, whether they're romantic relationships, platonic, friends, whatever. And I feel like it was a good thing for them to just be able to talk and let's move along.
Yeah, and we will see next week that you and Winter talk.
I'm gonna leave now.
No.
I don't know if we would move along.
So before I let you guys go, This season, we get to see Winter and Ashley come face to face for the very first time in next week's episode. Ashley, I think you're funny. I think you were a comedian in your past life. You know, you were on your Whoopi Goldberg, mixed it with some Tiffany Haddish, and a taste of Chappelle. Because Quick, your wife. You said what?
I said I'm very Chappelle.
You're very Chappelle.
And all about, like, in confessionals, I'm always like, don't say that. No, that's not nice. Don't say that.
And Britt be like, no, say it. Pull it out of you. No, it's good. And it's good. Quick, your wife sees Winter next week.
Mhm.
And immediately she unleashes, I'll just say that. She unleashes some words, not like bad words, but some words that I just never thought I would hear as a woman.
Remember.
I'm not going to spoil it for you, because that's why it's real, because your wife lives in the moment. And all I'll say is, what I love about the scene is, yes, they have an argument, right? But the arguments I love is when it's funny. And right, Ashley?
I know what you're talking about, because when I say something, there literally, I remember saying, like, in my head, I was like, yo, this shit is so immature. I was like, this is so childish.
Quick is like, what is that? Quick, but look, it's nothing
I ain't
crazy.
seen it yet.
I know what I'm saying. When you watch it, you're going to laugh the whole time. Because, let me ask you this. I've been doing this for 15 years, Ashley. I've worked with Kim and Nene when they used to go at it. Nene and Sheree go at it. Kenya and Portia go at it, right? And one thing Nene always said to me was, I don't mind having a good sport to spar with. Like, I actually like it. You know, like, if you can go toe-to-toe with me and hold your own, I ain't mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Winter, is Winter a great opponent?
You know what? Winter and I think that we are the Mike Tyson or Vander Holyfield. Like, it's a good opponent. It is, you know. I love my castmates, and again, I don't feel like it needs to be a shade fest all the time. But it's like, girl, I ain't gonna fuss with the rest of y'all. Like, that is easy, okay? Like, Winter's gonna give me something, okay? and it, you know, even in the moment when you know, we both are angry. But like you're saying about the scene next week, like, I just remember I wanted to, like, laugh. Like, I remember being like, yo, this is so stupid. But no, she's a great opponent. I will say that we are literally like fire and ice.
It's the Libra Scorpio combo.
Yeah.
That's it's why it's so good. So stay tuned to next week. We get to see that. The fans, they want me to ask you this, Ashley, so I gotta get it out the way. And quick, I want to talk about one thing before I let you go.
Good.
They saw the Super Teas. The Silvas is known for a lot of things, including their Christmas Eve parties. Okay. It's tradition for them. It's the hottest ticket in town. Even Candace and Chris Bassett goes to it, because they're, you know, it's the hottest ticket in town. In the upcoming episode towards, you know, the later part of the season, we see you and Joy have a situation, okay? What can you say to the audience when they are going to see what happens, that you at least want to give them an explanation in terms of what leads up to it without giving away too much?
I think that the audience, when they see what led up to that, they're going to be very shocked. shocked by what happened before, and then shocked like that transpired into this big blow up. I would have thought it was going to lead to this big blow up, but here we are. Honest girl.
And Quick, you were there. Quick, so obviously, Ashley is Mike Tyson, and Quick, you are Don King. So you were there.
That's a bad analogy.
Not Don King.
I manage her now.
Not Don King.
Right.
And still, that means you be stealing my money.
Right. Don King was a man who stole everyone's money. That's what Quick is. Make you go viral.
Quick, sometimes Don King's like, yo, Mike, don't do all that. Like, no, we're good. We're good. Call back. So, Quick, you were there at the party. Quick and I spoke afterwards. What would you say, in regards to all of that?
I'm trying to think how to answer that. I'm not, and like I said, we had a conversation. I'm not happy that it happened at the party. As we mentioned, the Silvas home, this is everyone's safe space. Like, I don't care if I don't like you, I don't like you. Like, when you come here, people respect us so much that we've been doing this event at our house for 15 years. I mean, literally, it's been 500 people in this house at these events. So we've never had any incidents. So when this happened, it happened so fast. Literally, we all were having, a good time on one side of the house, and then, they're having a conversation, and all of a sudden it's like, Carlos, we're having fun. Like, hold on. So then as you walk out, within 3 seconds, it went from 0 to 1,000. And at that moment, I think, what can I say without spoiling it? It could have gotten a lot worse. And that's why, for me, I was so adamant. I'm trying to talk without spoiling the scene. I was so adamant about, like, we got to dead this right now and get back to us having fun, because it's about to go bang a U-turn where it's going to get worse in my home.
I'm still confused what she was so mad about.
Right. And I think that's what and even back to Ashley's statement right now, Carlos, me and Ashley have had this real conversation, like, why are you so upset? And once again, we can't spoil why.
Right.
But when viewers see it, they can be like, I mean, what's the big deal? Without us spoiling. So it's like, I still don't, and we still haven't figured that out yet. We're still filming, so maybe we'll figure it out in the next few weeks. I don't know. We still don't know why the anger was even at Ashley. I still don't know. So that anger led to an event happening at my home that, unfortunately for us, this is bigger than a TV show.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like, how do you move forward now when an incident happened at your home that's like, now this is really personal. This is really personal for Ashley and myself. So I don't know where this leads moving forward. I don't know. Yeah,
well, you'll see. And when the ladies do that, does it ever affect the guys' relationship, the guys' friendship?
It does, because the guys become a casualty of war. At the end of the day, I'm Team Ashley, whether she's right or wrong. In this instance, she's right. But even if she's wrong, I'm gonna stick beside her, right? With Joy and Clifton or Jamie and Raina, it's the exact same way. At the end of the day, Clifton sticks beside Joy, as he should, right? As he should. So if Ashley and Joy are in a space, it makes it difficult, because at the end of the day, if I'm having a guys event and I want to invite the guys and the ladies, do I still invite Clifton, knowing that him and Joy and Ashley?
We just said a guys event.
Right. So like, we're all just getting to know each other. So Clifton's not like my friend where we're hanging right now, right? We're getting to know each other on the show as we're filming. So right now, all the times that we all come together is normally all of us coming together. If Ashley and Joy aren't coming together, how do me and Clifton move forward? I don't know. Like, that's what it affects. So I'm not beefing. Like, Clifton hasn't done anything to me personally or to Ashley, but unfortunately, your lady had a moment with my lady, and now we have to figure out how to navigate forward.
Yeah, and we get to see that, and it's, listen, like Quick said, and it's still happening. It's still happening. We're still filming, and more to come. But what I will say is this again, as I wrap things up, I just want to thank the two of you for making a great season. I don't lie. If a season isn't that great, I'll just say, hey, watch the show at 8:00, 7 Central on. This season of Love and Marriage DC has exceeded my expectations. And the beauty of this, and I know you guys saw the tweets, everybody who's watching it has said, wow, it does feel new. It does feel fresh. Yeah. And we love this season more. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, what Ashley said earlier, is we inserted people that have a history. And that will always be the secret sauce to a successful show. And this season is successful because the two of you came back and are better than ever. And we get to see more of a well-rounded cast. And Winter even said, like, look, me and Ashley carried the show last year. That's what Winter said, child. She said, child, that was me and Ashley.
I mean, she lied a lot, but she ain't all the time.
So now you and Winter, y'all are friends now?
All I said was that she told the truth.
So she did say that. And what's interesting is she also said, and I agree, she said everybody is on it. It's just bringing it, and it truly does feel like a true ensemble. And I just wanted to give you your flowers for that. I love you guys. Y'all are the best of the best to work with and just to be in business with. And there's really more to come with the two of you because we are just scratching the surface of the future of the Silvas. So I just wanted to say that publicly because I already said it personally. So, you know, I like to make sure I like Winter, am an honest person.
What
was that, Ashley?
Nothing. She ain't say nothing.
Okay.
I said that time she was an honest person.
Oh, well, we'll continue to watch. But thank you guys so much. Love and Marriage DC comes on every Saturday, 8 o'clock Southern Central. And Quick and Ashley, let them know they can follow you, find you, and buy your book, Ashley, as well.
Yes. So you can follow me everywhere on all social media at Ashley Brittany. And my website is ashleybrittanysilva.com, where you can get all my merch. My book is available on my website, on Amazon, on Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million. And soon I will be in Target. I'm so excited. I'm working on that now, so I'm really excited.
That's big. Congratulations.
I cannot wait to be in Target.
You ready for this, Carlos? This is my first time hearing this.
Because I'm working on it.
Exclusive.
Exclusive. But you can follow everything at DJ Quicksilver.
Yes. All right. We'll talk guys soon.
Bye.